Should you build your culinary career in hotels or restaurants? I'm sure many of you out there are wondering about this. In this episode of the Zista Podcast, we're going to be discussing this in more detail. Welcome to the Zista Podcast, where we invite industry professionals and people from academia to answer questions that students have within a specific subject area. In today's episode, we're going to be focusing on hospitality and more specifically on the domain of culinary arts. And joining me today is Chef Ravraj Chandhok. Let me give you a small introduction on Chef Ravraj. Chef has completed his BA in Culinary Arts from IHM Aurangabad, and he has worked with really good brands like Taj, JW Marriott, and Hyatt. He has also played an instrumental role in starting and launching new restaurants, designing and creating new menus. He's worked with iconic restaurant brands like the Gustabus. Currently, he is the head chef at Cocktails and Dreams Private Limited, which owns Ditas. Now, Ditas actually has two outlets, one in Delhi, one in Mumbai, and I believe they're planning to launch an outlet in the US very shortly. So Ditas is a hybrid setup, which it's a restaurant by day and it's a plush bar at night. I'm really happy that we have Chef joining us here. So thank you for coming on the show, Chef.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having me here.
Great. So, a lot of students are passionate about, culinary arts. I think, you can't be in culinary arts if you're not passionate, right? And
so a passion for this, for culinary arts, because people, after watching so many episodes of MasterChef, so every individual wants to become a chef. Maybe not professionally, but at home, people do prefer to cook. So it's actually a more of passion, I would say, that people needs to have that passion before they choose this profession.
Correct. Absolutely correct. And, students are passionate. They want to do something in culinary arts. Some just pursue it at a very basic level, right? They just are a home baker or a home cook making meals just for family and friends. Some go one step further and pursue it professionally. And working in a professional kitchen is so different, such a different experience. And I'm sure you can maybe share some light on that. But the question to ask really is, if I as a student have decided, okay, I want to build a career in culinary arts, I want to be in a professional kitchen, creating fantastic dishes, creating new innovative dishes, working in a professional setup, should I be building my career in a hotel? Or should I be building my career in a standalone restaurant? So what would you say to that?
So according to me, the base of the culinary art is hotel. So for initial few years, I would recommend all the students to, pursue hotels because that's actually the base, that's the foundation.
Okay.
So you to strengthen your foundation. Then from there, you can elaborate to whether you want to be in the hotel, you want to go on the cruise line, or you want to go in airlines or a standalone. So initially your base is very important. You strengthen your base. Post that you can choose whatever profession you need. Even from hotel, people do become a YouTuber.
Okay.
You can curate your own recipes. You can post that on YouTube, and by God's grace, you can become successful.
Okay. So, in your opinion, building that base in a hotel is really important.
It's really important because that's the foundation.
Would you say that the grind in a hotel is far more rigorous?
Yes, actually it is. With the grinding, how they mold you, because in hotels you have 4-5 different sectors. For example, in you have banquets where you can learn the bulk cooking. You have the coffee shop where the movement of the guests is, so quick that you need to be on your toes 24/7 because coffee shop.
Right.
And you have standalones in hotel as well, which only operates for lunch or dinner, where only the fine dining concept actually started.
Correct.
So it actually grooms you so well that you grasp all three segments in culinary, whether it's bulk cooking, it's standalone, or being enough fine dining. So it helps you to groom.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So it's just that grounding in having experienced these different facets. It allows you to pick and choose as to where you want to specialize. It allows you to, pursue your passion and maybe refine your skill in a specific area further. So someone may land up joining, say, you have a lot of catering companies that, work with corporate clients.
Corporate client.
And for them, bulk cooking, they do really good quality bulk cooking, but for corporate clients at a higher price point. And I'm sure that's a career that people can
That's
pursue.
people to prefer these days. If you see that there are a lot of companies who started with corporate and who actually they prefer just to maintain those standards, and that's
Right.
as was said in hotels.
Correct. Correct. So tell me a little bit more about your personal journey, Chef. So you've obviously worked in hotels and you've got your grounding in all these different facets. So what, made you feel that I want to work in a standalone restaurant? Is it that you enjoy creating new dishes? Do you like creating menus, designing new menus? Is that something that gives you joy?
Yes, I mean creating new menus, doing new dishes. I mean coming up with some new concept. You have the facilities in standard restaurants. In hotel, you are bounded with a lot of I would say there's some sector which you not supposed to do.
Okay.
But in a restaurant, you have that free hand because the restaurant is your baby. I mean, you can create, you can improvise what you feel because you're directly in touch with the guest.
Right. And when you design a menu, could you just dive a little deeper in that? When you're designing a menu, okay, for a standalone restaurant, what are the things that you keep in mind when you're creating the menu? I'm sure you need to balance some old favorites with some new dishes, but really, can you tell us a little bit more about your approach?
Exactly. So what happens is when you're planning to open a restaurant, the most important thing is what concept are you planning?
Correct.
Whether it's a fine dining or casual dining or a restaurant bar. If,
Correct.
if you select any one of them these, then you conceptualize your food. Like if it's a casual dining, you need people who comes there to just to spend time, just to enjoy the ambience at food.
Right.
You need some dishes which are we call a comfort food.
Correct.
Like for example, a tomato soup. It's
Or
loved
French fries or garlic bread.
or French fries or garlic bread. These are
Right.
all comfort food where people come and take a beer and they want something to munch, so they have a French fries or a garlic bread. And later in the evening, where you see the people actually they want to try something different, over there the chef comes into play. He has to curate something very different, which because if you see maximum of the people have different taste buds. So in salon you need to conceptualize your menu in such a way it matches to everyone because the three flavors are very necessary: spicy, sourness, and sweetness.
Right.
If you can curate your dish in these three flavors, I mean it's gonna be the love by maximum.
That's so nice. I mean, it's so nice that you actually put it that way. You actually broke it down in very simple terms. Say, think of the broad flavor profiles and create dishes which cater to that flavor profile. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for distilling it with such clarity. That's amazing. And also what I wanted to ask you is, I mean, I've actually been fortunate to come to Didas and try the food that you dish out there, and I must say, I was really impressed. I practically everything I tried was delicious. So I need to ask you this: how do you maintain, how do you create and then maintain a really high level of quality in terms of your dishes?
See, A is curation. Second is training. You need
Okay.
to you need to train your guys in such a way that they are thorough with their dish. So here, what I have the normally what all chefs does, they have in different sections.
Okay.
The few guys are making salads. For initial few days, they'll be focusing mostly on the salads.
Okay.
Uh, A few group is making main courses like your pastas, your pizza, or even your Asian. So you have a different section where I keep my stuff. I train them in such a way that they get thorough with the menu and the ingredients. So main is that training what you need to give them.
Right.
That's the key, I would say.
Okay. All right. Um, I'd like to ask you one more question, Chef, and I think it's something that will really help students out there who really want to succeed. So my question is simple. In your opinion, what are the traits that students need to succeed as a culinary professional?
Be ready for the hard work. I mean, you need to slog yourself for hours in kitchen. Success doesn't come overnight. It comes
Right.
with hard work.
Right.
And you need to give that time. I mean, you need to leave your personal life and spend those 14 to 15 hours minimum, I would say, in the kitchen.
Okay.
And people in the hotel, they yet do it.
Absolutely. I can imagine. So hard work is one thing, but is there any other trait that you would say has really helped you personally? Because,
One trade it is because if they are culinary student, they have passion.
right,
The timing won't matter to them. Be
correct.
come with an open mind. I would say a different chefs has a different perspective. Different chefs has a different concept of cooking. Different chefs has different ideas of how to cook it and how to make the dish. I
Correct.
would say a simple fried rice can be made in a 3 different ways. So each chef, so just be open to learn.
Right. So keep
Just,
an open mind,
yeah.
be willing to work hard, and definitely be super passionate, because if you don't have the passion, you're going to burn out. Literally.
But
I mean, it's ironic that we use that phrase in the context of a kitchen, but I guess it's absolutely appropriate.
like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Um, I think I've really enjoyed this discussion with you, Chef. I think you've done a good job in explaining the key differences between a culinary career in a hotel versus a restaurant. And I think in some ways the journey a student takes has to be, it's a personal choice, right? I mean, there's no
Actually,
fixed formula for success, right?
I'm not saying that if you start your career in a restaurant, you won't be successful.
Correct.
I mean, you can, but your base foundation
Right.
rooms very well when you start your career from a hotel.
Right.
Restaurant can make you successful faster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the learning, the skill, the concepts of actual cooking, I mean, it would be very different if you compare yourself a person who's working in a restaurant and a person who's working in a hotel.
Right.
Basically, discipline. Being a chef, you need to be very disciplined, and that discipline you learn if you are in hotels. Restaurant give you the privilege to be, very casual. If you see me, I'm wearing a cap, and I'm working in a restaurant, which is not actually allowed when I'm in a hotel.
Correct.
And in restaurant, you can have this beer and you can work. But in restaurant, you need to be in hotels. You need to prove yourself in such a way that you want to understand the difference. In a restaurant,
Absolutely.
I can wear a jeans and I can stand. And in such way, hotel is very different.
Yeah, but I think in all fairness, Chef, you've earned your mark. You've already been through a lot of grind. You've got 12 years of experience, and you are the head chef today at Cocktails and Dreams Private Limited. And Ditas is a fantastic outlet. I'm sure as an organization, you are probably thinking of launching more outlets, maybe more brands.
Yes,
But it's amazing because when I came to Ditas and I tried the food that you made, I thought that it'd be lovely to host you on the podcast and talk to you about your journey and your concepts. So I'm so happy that you made time for this, Chef. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's great talking to you.
Fantastic. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're going to keep creating content like this where we're answering queries raised by students within specific subjects. So follow us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, or Spotify. The Zista Podcast is our handle. And yes, do subscribe to our videos on YouTube. Till then, our advice to you would be stay curious.